I'm Reece Stein, at your leisure at the Red Cliffs Desert Preserve just outside St. George in search of the rare desert tortoise. And while live ones are hard to find, we did find this petrified turtle carved into the sandstone. The Red Cliffs Reserve stretches for 20 miles across Washington County from Laverton on the east to beyond Ivins in the west.
Well, the Red Cliffs Desert Reserve is an area in southern Utah, actually 62,000 acres, that's been set aside as a reserve for the desert tortoise, really. But that's the reason it was put here, but it really satisfies the habitat needs for a lot of desert creatures like Gila monsters and all kinds of lizards and snakes.
We're following wildlife photographer Lynn Chamberlain and his son Alex in search of tortoises. We find several dens, but no other sign of the critters. We found them in past trips, and Lynn provided us with pictures from his previous trips.
Well, the desert tortoise is a fascinating creature in that they only come out of the burrows just for a very short period of time, basically twice a year, once in the spring to kind of feed and rejuvenate from being hibernating all the winter, and then again in the fall because they go back in the summertime, back into their holes to keep from overheating, and come out in the fall again to feed and to breed.
The Mojave Desert tortoise is a federally listed threatened species due to habitat loss. This 62,000 acre reserve protects that habitat while still allowing some recreational uses.
The desert reserve is really nice because there are several roads that go into it and a lot of hiking trails. So if you want to go for a good hike or a horseback ride, there are plenty of places to go and do that.
If you do drive into the reserve, keep an eye out for critters on the road.
Anytime you're driving on any of the roads around the tortoise reserve, you want to make sure that you watch out for tortoises.
Many of the trails make for excellent mountain biking, and horseback riders love the reserve year-round.
It's amazing. It's so beautiful. I ride here all winter, and these preserves they're quiet and peaceful, and you see so much plant life and wildlife, and they're just totally friendly for the horses, so I've just been loving it. This is my second winter.
Spring, winter, well in spring, and we hit the cactus bloom just perfect, and so everything, the desert's in bloom. And the colors are off the charts.
There's a freshness to the desert in early spring. The cottonwoods are lush in new greenery and desert wildflowers abound. This section of the reserve just north of St. George is popular for hikers and rock climbers. This climbing wall has many great handholds and permanent anchors for ropes, while the area east of Interstate 80 near Leeds is dotted with historical structures, including these ruins of a 19th century silver mill along the banks of the Virgin River. We found plenty of lizards enjoying the early spring, and Alex says the highlight of his many trips here was finding a very special lizard.
The neatest thing I've ever seen in the preserve is a full-grown Gila monster. We came down the road last year and saw one just out foraging for food or looking for a den. We're really not sure what it was doing, but it's the only one I've ever seen in the wild, and it was also a very large one. So that was a really neat kind of up-close and personal experience with something you don't normally see.
The reserve is closed to off-highway vehicle riding, but Chamberlain says that's a small price to pay.
People come to southern Utah because of what we have here, and if we aren't wise about keeping the attributes and the things around that make this area unique, like the wildlife and like the desert, then it's kind of defeats the purpose of coming here in the first place.
Reece Stein at your leisure in the Red Cliffs Desert Reserve near St. George.